So just take a quick glance, take a quick look. I checked my Coinbase dashboard this morning, and I'm seeing Bitcoin, BTC, cryptocurrency price dropping, falling. And again, folks, I'm buying the dip. I'm buying on the red days. Now, granted, I'm not saying I'm buying Bitcoin, but I'm just saying the days in the red are the days that I like to buy. I like to buy when things are on sale. I like to buy when things are at a discount. But with a growing number of comments and email messages and new Patreon members and in-person hired clients or contracts for consulting and coaching, the growing question is inevitably what's going to happen with CBDC? What's going to happen with my money? What's going to happen with the central banks? What's going to happen with the Fed? What's going to happen with Executive Order 14067? Well, I can't tell you for certain what's going to happen there, but I can continue to monitor and bring you guys updates about the most recent information about a U.S. central bank digital currency, a CBDC or digital dollar or e-dollar or whatever they're going to call it, as well as CBDCs from other countries, from other parts of the world, and what they're experiencing and what is likely to happen as we see ours roll out here in the US. But probably even more likely, a question that's being asked outside of that is, how do I buy, or how do I get more, gain more, earn more to have the ability to execute on the number one pillar, which is diversity, but all three are diversity, security, and cash flow. So how do I produce the cash flow to diversify and secure? Well, with that being said, I'm going to share with you a very interesting update that I received yesterday that could potentially answer that question. But more importantly, after having a conversation with a friend of mine, financial, financially stable and sound individual, spent some time trading stocks, working Wall Street, New York Stock Exchange, stockbroker, very in tune with the markets. He's under the guise that we are moving towards a recession. Now, not necessarily his words, but based on what we're seeing happening, what the Fed is predicting, what banks, the big banks are predicting, CEOs like Brian Moynihan are predicting, major retailers out here predicting, planning for, preparing for this recession. Even I watched Meet Kevin, and one of his most recent videos, I think, was talking about a recession from a motel room or something. But with that comes more days in the red. So basically what it means is, what I'm trying to say or tell you guys is that with a recession comes the push for liquidation. The liquidation comes from the people who potentially have the assets. These assets could include real estate, stocks, equity positions, precious metals, hard assets, folks. Hard Assets Alliance, link in the description down below. Another great way of diversification. Just sharing with you some of my tips, my strategies, what I do on a regular basis. You guys do whatever you want, but by all means, you're welcome to reach out and contact me if you want to get in touch and have a conversation about what could be. Now, with that being said, real estate, stocks, equity positions, precious metals, Hard Assets Alliance, ownership positions, cryptocurrency, decentralized cryptocurrency, centralized crypto or centralized currency. The point is that those who may be in a position to have these assets at their disposal could also be likely to feel the squeeze and the pressure from a recession. So For instance, let's just take a business owner, for instance, small business owner who's already felt the squeeze from 2022, who's barely managed to squeak by the abysmal holiday season. And now we're rolling into, we're trying to get out of winter into spring 2023. And the business is just not what would be expected, or it's kind of to be expected, but not conducive to producing enough revenue, generating enough profit, net income to sustain business and have a positive outlook on the future without living paycheck to paycheck. With at the same time, most small business owners are probably not living paycheck to paycheck because they're probably not really earning any paychecks. And what they're doing more than likely is trying to survive a recession, or at least put their business in a position to be able to survive a recession while also trying to personally survive a recession. So they're working this business that's eating them alive, but they don't want to give up, and they can't give up really, because then they'll have nothing. But in order to keep that business alive, to possibly get to the point of which it could be producing returns, great payouts, great income, net income, you gotta breathe life into it. This takes capital. This takes money, financing, funding, cash. The cash flow is huge. So what do? They liquidate. And based on the likelihood of a looming recession, we're on the brink of a recession, the cusp of a depression, depending on who you ask. What they'll do is they'll look to liquidate assets that they have available to them to then have that funding, the capital, to inject into their business to keep it afloat. Now, this is a dangerous scenario and situation that could literally wipe you out altogether, or could work. The choice is yours. You have to make that choice. That's a business decision on your own. But with that being said, when it's time to liquidate, well, the buyers who have the available funds, the capital, the cash that you need in exchange for your assets are not looking to pay top dollar. So that's when we see days in the red. We see prices falling, prices dropping, and that's when I want to buy. So I actually had somebody approach me not too long ago and offer me a, what was it? I think it was a Rolex. It was a Rolex Submariner. And granted, I know the value of this luxury timepiece, and also know the value of skipping the wait list and beating the wait list to have it. But I also knew the situation of which this person was in, and they approached me prior to approaching a authorized jeweler, which granted, now most ADs and authorized dealers for Rolex are going to be engaging in this certified pre-owned business. But they also knew that because they were in a hurry, they were rushing, that they needed money relatively quickly. They knew they weren't going to get top dollar, as they should, assuming they had time to list and market and wait for the right buyer to come along. But at the same time, these buyers are focused on other assets and other ways of securing their wealth right now, more so than probably just accumulating more, unless it's at an extreme discount, which this person knew that when they went to an AD, an authorized dealer, the jeweler was going to offer them a very low amount, because that's just what they do. And then they're going to take it in, they're going to refurbish it, and they're going to sell it probably pretty close to a price of a new one, for the fact that you can beat the wait list purchasing a pre-owned, certified pre-owned. But when it comes to real estate, when it comes to vehicles, automobiles, any asset for that matter at this point in time, equity stakes in ownership, cryptocurrency stocks, with a recession coming, having already been in a recession, depending on who you ask, folks feeling the squeeze, the liquidation beginning, it's only like really going to be so long before we start to see extreme discounts, pennies on the dollar, where those who have positioned themselves to take advantage of these opportunities and capitalize on these buys, on entering in on some extremely low exits, those are going to be the folks who see the greatest return. Well, how do I do that? Because one, I want to do that. Two, I don't want to fall into the category of the people having to be forced to liquidate. But three, I don't have any money as it is. I want to diversify. I want to stake my claim now. I want to diversify. I want security. I want cash flow before it gets really tough, before SHTF, before CBDC rolls out, because nobody knows exactly what the central bank digital currency is going to do or how it's going to affect people, or really just how bad it's really going to affect people. But I can guarantee you this, that the more you have before that time, the better, especially if you're looking to diversify. Because personally, when that day comes, I would much rather see my portfolio be much more heavily weighted in cash flow producing assets and wealth building assets, precious metals, hard assets, than cash that will potentially be converted to this e-dollar, digital dollar, CBDC, central bank digital currency nonsense. That's where I would rather be. Then we'll let the dust settle, the smoke clear, see where the chips fall. And then from there, I would then prepare to move on to my next phase of the plan. But in order to do that, you got to have the money capable, able, ready, willing, and able, disposable income capable of utilizing for investments, more so than living paycheck to paycheck, just barely getting by, keeping your head above water, paying most of your income towards high interest payments on credit cards and revolving debt, things like that. So what I wanted to share with you was an interesting development that I came across yesterday, specifically from retail giant Walmart and their plans moving forward with their business, which we've already discussed before in the past, folks. They're closing stores, they're raising prices, and they're eliminating jobs, they're moving online. They're trying to shift this business model to what I have already discussed with you guys before in previous videos. I'm not going to get into it again here. So if you want, you can go check out those videos. But it's really clear. It's like obvious what they're trying to do, and they have specifically said it here recently with their CFO, Rainey, making statements from their most recent report that the company is looking to move towards an online, more so online footprint and marketing. Now, granted, Walmart has a variety of other offerings, from distribution, which I brought to you guys before, about how they're going to start selling their access, you're selling the ability to utilize their distribution network, similar to Amazon. And so I would say probably in the very near future, we're going to see like a Walmart, Amazon, like mix, maybe not so much an M&O or merger or M&A, merger and acquisition, but they're going to start to kind of like be one and the same, really odd. Amazon actually just released a news report that they're closing down some of their stores, even though these stores don't have any employees. So it's going online. It's going online. And as I told you guys before in a previous video, the marketing is important, because without the consumers, the shoppers, the customers walking through the stores, having their attention drawn by flashy signs and bright lights and slash prices and marked down prices and sale signs, they have to have a way of gaining the attention of these consumers to take their money on these online transactions. Therefore, the marketing is huge. Walmart said that their marketing margins are somewhere between 70 and 80%. But the beauty of it is that Walmart has gained such a giant foothold on the market that they have the ability to offer the ability for third-party resellers, retailers to market and advertise on Walmart's website. Much like Amazon, where Amazon FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon sellers, are literally marketing on Amazon. Like Amazon built it. Now, granted, some people may get upset about Amazon and Walmart and YouTube, for that matter, as far as how much they take in fees. But when you think about it, they have built out the infrastructure. They have done all the heavy lifting and the hard work. And a creator, a content creator, a seller, a new business, a small business could literally show up tomorrow, begin to produce revenues and serious profits with no cost out of pocket. Because Walmart, Amazon, YouTube, these platforms, even Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, they've all done the heavy lifting for you. So I don't get upset with the fees that they charge, but I also work to diversify the ways in which I earn so that I can see 70, 80 plus percent margins on my business without having to invest in inventory, which is huge. So I think that this is a clear sign and indication of the direction that these companies and these businesses are going, and exciting and motivating for others looking for ways of which they can capitalize on these opportunities to produce for themselves. I receive emails on a regular basis for these marketing opportunities, and they're very, very strong. They're very lucrative. They're very enticing, and they're very telling. Part of this is then understanding keywords and marketing and keyword research and things like that. And there's actually tools out there like SEMrush that make this very, very simple and easy. I'll even put a link in the description to SEMrush if you guys want to check it out. And if you can lock that in now, then you're going to be on a good track way before CBDC, way before central bank digital currency, to generating some really good revenues and income that you can then use to diversify and secure and continuously produce cash flow, while also getting involved in crypto, Bitcoin, XRP, ETH, Ethereum, Ripple, BTC, cryptocurrency. And then we can get into, don't forget, cold storage, which, I want mine off the exchange. I want it off the platform, off the network. I want to hold it. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. But again, it's all part of diversification. That way, I don't put all my eggs in one basket, and I'm not super vulnerable to any one single point of failure. And depending on what could happen in the future, which no one really knows, especially with the uncertainty of CBDC, but also what we already know from previous rollouts and executions of other countries forcing central bank digital currency on their citizens and their people, it's not looking good. So, I'm not saying that it will be bad for us or extremely terrible, but I am saying that no matter what happens, I want to have at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 alternative plans, backup plans, just in case. Okay. So like I said, folks, free links in the description. Feel free to contact me. I hope this answers some questions. I hope you guys are preparing. I hope you guys are keeping your eye on the ball, focused on what is ahead, and not getting swallowed up and just basically beat down and potentially wiped out by inflation, recession, job loss, and all the other problems that are included with that, with this looming recession on the horizon. Folks, I hope you guys are doing well. You guys take care. Be safe. I'll see you real soon.